Still says off here. Oh, hi guys, welcome to our Google Hangout for assistive technology for our instructional technology class at Stockton University. We're going to talk about assistive technology with special needs, and here's Donna to explain exactly what that is.
Okay, so assistive technology in the classroom all started with the Act of 1988, which was called Technology-Related Assistance for Individuals with Disabilities Act of 1988. It wasn't amended until 1994, however.
What does this act require schools?
The Act requires that schools provide assistive technology for students with disabilities. Because it's mandated by law, the schools do have to abide by that law, and they do have to provide the technology if they can get their hands on it. It can be simple as just getting graphs for pencils for people to be able to pick up and all those different kinds of things. The technology provides important tools for making tasks quicker and easier for students that have disabilities. It allows them to also be engaged and perform in tasks that otherwise would be more difficult. It lets them be like a normal student and hang out with other regular students, so they don't feel like they're separated and that they're different. It has like they have greater control over their own lives. Um, Also, the assistive technology, since there are so many different types and kinds, and which Dom is actually going to get into, um, it can be something that maybe like a doctor or someone that is in that field makes, or it can be something that even just a parent gets off the shelf at like a local Walmart or Target, and they customize it for the student and for their kid. There's actually, I watched a video of this guy. He's called like Go Baby Go, and does he sets up like the little cars that like infants and toddlers drive around, so that they like people students and kids with disabilities can use them, and one kid who doesn't have much strength in his legs, he uses one where he has to, in order for it to go, he has to stand up and put pressure on the pedal for him to be able to drive the little car. um, Assistive technology also focuses on a student's strongest processing area. So if the student is unable to retain information by just verbally giving it to them, and they retain better from seeing it visually, then the assistive technology will trigger your visual senses so that the student can understand the information that the teacher is giving them. I also have a quick video to explain more about assistive technology. Just screen share.
We all like to do things, like color, and read, and use a computer. It's how we play, learn, work, and get things done. But when a disability makes it hard to do something we'd like to do, we need a little help. Luckily, there's a solution. Welcome to Simply Said, Understanding Assistive Technology. Assistive technology, or AT, is anything that helps you do something you couldn't do otherwise, like walk, run, communicate, and more. These helpful tools could be as simple as a foam grip that makes it possible for a child to grasp a crayon and create art, as common as glasses that make it possible for a student to read and learn, or as sophisticated as software that makes it possible for an employee to convert their spoken word to text on a computer screen and succeed. Whether you're young or old, male or female, whether you've had a disability from birth or developed one over the years, AT can help. Finding AT is easier than you might think. Every state has an Assistive Technology Act program to help you find AT. In Minnesota, it's called the STAR program. You can find it at starprogram.state.mn.us. To find a program like STAR in another state, check out the Association of Assistive Technology Act programs at ataporg.org.
Okay, so that was a little bit more about explaining the assistive technology, and now Dom is going to go into the specific types.
Yes. And like Donna said, there are a lot of different assistive technology out there in the world, and it all depends on the type of disability and also the severity of the disability. And right here, I do have a presentation on the different types of disabilities there are. Okay. The different types of tech, like I said, it depends on the type of disability. And the four that I will go into is the autism, the mobility impairments, hearing impairments, and also visual impairments. First is the autism. And like I said, depending on the severity, the autism depends on the spectrum. Depending on where the student lies on the spectrum will determine the type of technology that student will use. But for the most part, for most of the students, they will use the iPads and the apps. And when we get to Emily, she will talk about a lot of how these technologies work for the students and how they help them benefit in the classroom. Next is mobility impairments. That's the wheelchairs and walkers. These are very pivotal to a lot of students in school buildings now. A lot of times you see handicap for opening doors for these people because they cannot get through the way they want to. So a lot of times doors have to be opened electronically, and so for people in wheelchairs and also using walkers. And for hearing impairments, there's a lot to do with hearing impairments. You have the FM systems, the infrared systems, the induction loop system, hearing aids, and the cochlear implants. The FM system is one of my favorite because not only do I feel it's beneficial to people with hearing impairments, but also to kids with ADHD, people who cannot, students who cannot closely pay attention in class. And I feel this is good because it's like a surround sound to the kids. And I feel like that's something beneficial to the classroom. It'll help them pay attention more, listen to the teachers more, listen to the aides more. Depending on who's instructing the class at the time, I feel like that is a big beneficial system for kids very young. And also the hearing aids and cochlear implants. They're the most frequently used technology for kids that are deaf. Now there's a group out there, deaf with the capital D, that despises these types of technology because they feel like they are one with their disability. And that is also a good thing for them because there are so many things that they can use. But for kids that's trying to hear and learn, the hearing aids and the cochlear implants are, for the most part, the most used and most frequently given.
What kinds of technology are available for kids with visual impairments?
Thank you, Brandy. That's a good question. And for visual impairments, they are the Braille. That's the most frequently used throughout books and textbooks and on signs, labels, everywhere around you see the Braille for people who cannot see. And for general computers, for PC computers, they have screen readers. They are the type that reads the words that's on the screen for them to know what is going on. And also, there is an OX system for special education. The Braille terminal is an electromechanical device for displaying Braille characters, usually by means of round-tip pens raised through holes in a flat surface. Blind computer users who cannot use a computer monitor can use it to read text output. And also, I actually found a video that shows a kid using an iPad to learn and use the iPad with the Braille system. And here it goes.
My name's Jake, and I'm going to show you what I can do with an iPad at high school. You turn on the iPad with the home button, and to slide to unlock the thing, and you just slide it across. can actually scroll through items with one finger, see
Camera, photo booth, settings, messages, reminders.
voiceover. It's 3 clicks the home button.
Voiceover on. Now.
It'll say the date for, on your calendar. It'll be the first thing that it will say, and then you can either tap on it or you can tap anywhere on the screen to bring it up. So I've just written, school is fun. School is fun.
Yes, and that was a video using the system. And now on to Emily on how technology is being used.
Okay, I'm going to show you guys, or talk about how technology is actually being used in the classroom. And let me screen share.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me get back.
You guys can see this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, how is assistive technology being used in the classroom? The first kid I found was Mason. He's a first grade student. He uses a technology much like Dom just showed us that reads the letter that he just typed. I'll show you a short little video.
And Mason is a normal child.
My name is
There we
Abby
go.
Pemrick, and I'm Mason's teacher of the blind and visually impaired, and also his orientation and mobility specialist. In the classroom, Mason uses his Mountbatten as far as technology goes, mostly for writing activities. So anytime the teacher has the students doing pencil paper writing, Mason uses his Mountbatten.
You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You just press down these keys. When you type something, it will tell you what you typed. It's like bulbs to read.
So the Mountbatten Brailler was new to us last.
Okay. So I like that video because the teacher was talking about how it helps Mason in the classroom so he doesn't fall behind in all his tasks or any like papers that he has to write. And also he's in first grade, so it shows that assistive technology can be used by any age in any grade for any subject. Autism is another big thing, or a big spectrum that uses assistive technology. The audiobooks are used a lot because many of them cannot read or write, so they can listen to the books. And then the iPad apps are a huge thing because you can have the apps with like the pictures of everything, and they can just click the picture of what they're trying to tell you or what they want. And also you can communicate with them much easier. If they can't understand you, they can just look at the pictures. And also schedules and calendars, because people with autism are very like schedule oriented, so they can have everything written out or typed out on their iPad and have it right there in front of them. And also I found a story about this girl Carly who's severely autistic, but she wouldn't speak, she couldn't talk, and one day she just started typing on her computer, typing messages in perfect like sentences. And it just shows you that technology can go a far way. And this helps because now the scientists can study autism much better. For deafness, ear implants, like Dom said, they can help students hear and participate in the classroom. Captions under videos and stuff, when you're watching a movie, the deaf kids can follow along. And the Google Hangout is also great because you can use sign language. And then ADHD is good because you can use the gamification that we talked about earlier in the class and any educational games because they can do it right then and there and get feedback immediately, which helps keep kids with ADHD on track with everything. And then also the schedules and calendars. And then a great tool that I found was the Apple MacBook. They actually have a whole page dedicated to special education. On the MacBook, you can get it like specialized to your needs. They have Alex Speak, which reads aloud the page and anything on there. They have the Safari Reader, which simplifies the experience, which means it gets rid of all the ads and stuff in the background of your computer, so it's much easier for you to search on the web do anything like that. And then dictation, which is a lot like the Dragon program we have at Stockton, which is basically you speaking to the computer and it's writing everything out that you are talking to it. And then is it effective? I think it's very effective because it helps the kids get further in their class and not fall behind, because I know in my school the kids go an extra 4 years, or if you're in the special education program, but with like all this assistive technology, it can help it go faster and maybe not stay that long in the class. And now Brandy's going to talk about IEPs.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. I have a presentation. Okay, 1 second. Are you guys able to see the presentation?
Yeah, sorry, I was muted.
Oh. Okay. So, assistive technology and the IEP. First, I'd like to go over what exactly an IEP is. It's an individualized education program. It's a written statement for each student with a disability. It describes things like the abilities, capabilities, goals, needs, and it's reviewed, developed, and revised at least once a year by an IEP team. I have an example of an IEP. Because right here, this IEP is for Morgan Smith. It's made up, of course. First, it goes through the performance.
The IEP. I can't see it. I just wanted you to. On the.
Oh, you can't see the IEP.
Can you guys see it?
No.
You can? Oh, maybe it's just my computer.
No, I can't see it.
Oh, okay.
1 moment. You see it now?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. So it goes over exactly what performance things she's able to do. This is Morgan Smith. Her eligibility, it talks about her specific disability and what comes along with that. Goes through her instructional considerations, like do they exhibit behaviors that impede their learning, goals and benchmarks. You have specific benchmarks. It talks about who is going to help them get to that benchmark, how they're going to test whether or not they got to that benchmark, and when they would like to see whether or not they did. There's also supplementary aids. This is where you would find your assistive technology. Right here, Morgan doesn't have any specific assistive technology that she would use, but if she had, it would be there. It also talks about placement, special services, transition, assessments, things along those lines. And it talks about the development team, which is made up of parents, representatives of the district, you have your special education teachers, the student, sometimes psychologists are included in that. We'll go back to the Prezi. Okay, some questions to consider. Does the student need the assistive technology to be in a least restrictive environment? Do they need it to access educational materials, to access auditory information? This is where you would find kids with hearing disabilities. For written communication or computer access, this would be a lot of your autistic kids in communication. And to participate in state and local assessments, and participate in activities, and meaningfully participate in the general curriculum. Some possible outcomes when they review this would be the team decides whether or not the assistive technology is necessary for the student. They talk about what assistive technology the student already has and whether or not they think that they should keep using that or whatnot. They determine if they need more information, they hit yes or they click yes on the IEP, and then they go and they try different assistive technologies and decide exactly what they want to use for that student. What is documented in the IEP? They document special considerations, the participation in state and local assessments, related services, program modifications. They need to write down exactly what the student needs to do with that assistive technology and why it's imperative that they have it. Some more information, what should a specific assistive technology be described in an IEP when deciding the assistive technology needed by a student. It is considered best practice to describe the features rather than the brand name because most devices and software have multiple features, not all of which might be required by the student. Listing features may provide more accurate description of what is needed by the student and may particularly be helpful in providing backup if something happens to the technology they're using. Whose responsibility is it to provide the AT for the special needs students? It's the responsibility of the local agency to describe or to provide it. That's listed in IDEA. It states that each public agency must ensure that the assistive technology devices are defined respectively and are made available to a child. And also, is the school responsible for providing use of assistive technology for students at home? That's determined on a case-by-case basis. So it depends on the disability and how much they actually need it. So that sums up everything I wanted to go over.
Okay, and that was our presentation on assistive technology. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you later.